Who is going to be exposed this week? Justin Reid and the Chiefs secondary, or will it be the Cincinnati Bengals and their passing offense? We have that and a prediction coming right up. Hey, thanks for joining, everyone. If you don't know, my name is Anthony, and this is On the Block Sports Chiefs. Now, of course, you can always check me out on Twitter, and you can follow me, my Twitter handle. That's Anthony D. Hatton 2. That is Anthony D. Hatton 2. Go ahead and follow me there. You can also check out some of my articles on arrowheadaddict.com. Go ahead and give that a check out. Look at me, look at all the other articles on there. There's some great content on the weekly. So, we have had some chatter going on. This will be an exciting matchup already because it's two of the top teams in the AFC. But now, there's a little bit more flame to the fire. Justin Reid got caught in a video talking a little bit of smack. And Jamar Chase definitely responded on Twitter. There should be some fireworks coming up in Cincinnati, Ohio tomorrow. Justin Reid, Jamar Chase, Hayden Hurst, T. Higgins, all these different names got thrown into the mix a little bit in the back and forth. It should be a focal point every time to see if Justin Reid actually backs up his talk. I'm excited to see that because he's been solid, but we haven't really seen the huge plays from Justin Reid this season, and I think everybody's eyes will be on him. Now, of course, we had the talk about Justin Reid, Jamar Chase, and their back and forth, but even more, everybody focuses on the two quarterbacks. You got Patrick Mahomes, and you got Joe Burrow, two of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Injuries, let's go ahead and discuss that also for each team. The Cincinnati Bengals, they get, of course, the before-mentioned Jamar Chase. He's expected to play. He had a hip injury that kept him out for a series of weeks, and he was practicing the week prior. I really think he would have came back if the game the following week, which happens to be tomorrow, wouldn't have been the Kansas City Chiefs. And because it's a huge game, he is definitely going to come back. Joe Mixon, he is the one guy for the Bengals that he may end up missing because he's still in the concussion protocol. There's a chance he may be available for the game. I don't expect him to be available. He might not play, and that'll be a huge blow for the Bengals. Linebacker Logan Wilson, he did not practice due to an illness, I believe at the end of the week for the Bengals. That'll be a huge loss if he cannot be on the field. Safety Von Bell, also, he didn't have any designation. He's expected to play, but he was limited at practice with a hamstring, so those are things to watch. For the Chiefs, wide receiver Kadarius Toney, his hamstring is still giving him issues. He was ruled out. Left guard Joe Thuney. Let's go ahead and see if he can make it. He practiced, but he ended up being questionable with an ankle last week, if you remember. Allegretti filled in pretty well for him in the game, and I think he's going to be able to play. But if he can't, Nick Allegretti, he's also going to be somebody who can fill in and you won't miss a beat. By the numbers, let's go ahead and look at the two offenses here. The Chiefs are, of course, ahead of the Bengals because their offense is probably the best offense in the NFL. Overall, points per game, yardage per game, passing and rushing are going to be higher than what the Bengals have. No, the Bengals are not bad at all. They are top 10 in just about every category except for rushing. They are 27th in the league with 96 yards rushing on the ground, whereas the Chiefs are just at 115 yards per game. So it's not really great, but at the same time, it is substantially more than what the Bengals average. Now, with that being said, I want to go ahead and say for the Chiefs, your offense, you have to use Isaiah Pacheco. Since he's been the clear lead running back, especially since Clyde Edwards-Helaire went out, the Chiefs have had a physicality on offense that they haven't had in a long time. Once again, you've had Chris Jones. He pointed out how the Chiefs, since Kareem Hunt rather, haven't really had a running back that they can just hand it off to multiple times in a row. That is something that the Chiefs did not do last year. Both losses to the Bengals, they got ahead and wouldn't hand the ball off. Those are things that you just have to do in the NFL. You're going to need it at some point. The Bengals, for their offense, I think what they should do is try to force the Chiefs' young secondary to match up to their elite skill at the wide receiver position. Joe Burrow likes to get the ball out fast. Jamar Chase, he's a great weapon who has a tremendous amount of talent. He ate up Charvarius Ward last season. He hasn't quite seen the Chiefs secondary, but they're young. And they've had some good wide receivers that they faced so far this year. So let's just see if that experience can come handy in this matchup against some elite skill positions in Cincinnati. The defenses, by the numbers, the Bengals defense actually is better in points per game allowed, overall yardage allowed. They allow fewer passing yards. Now the Chiefs are better against the run. The Chiefs only allow 102 yards per game on the ground, which is sixth best in the NFL. So the Bengals defense, although they're better than the Chiefs by the numbers, they're in the middle of the pack. They don't have any category where they're really great. At least the Chiefs are top 10 in rushing defense. So I think that's something that, especially if Joe Mixon cannot go, those are things that lean in the Chiefs' favor just because their offense is so great and the Bengals don't have a top-notch defense. Now, the Chiefs, what their game plan should be, is to get to Joe Burrow. The Chiefs have the fifth most sacks as a team in the NFL. Those are things I think they can be physical in coverage and try to get to the quarterback. Joe Burrow likes to get the ball out fast. If you can get pressure on him and not allow him to have those quick options to pass the ball to, you can create turnovers and get a head up on possessions. That is something that with the Bengals, who have a good offense, good quarterback who's accurate, who's more mobile than he gets credit for, great wide receivers that he can throw the ball to, you have to get an edge somewhere. So I think those are things that the Chiefs need to do. For the Bengals, they're going to want to try to make the Chiefs one-dimensional, as they did last season. So the Bengals, what they're going to probably try to do is do not let the Chiefs have early rushing success. If they can keep everything in front of them and don't let the big plays happen and get behind them, I think those are things that the Bengals are going to try to do and just try to force the hand in the same manner that it was last season. They had success 2 times. Most teams do not have that same story whenever they play the Chiefs. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our prediction. The Chiefs have definitely been the most motivated, I believe, to face this Cincinnati Bengals team. They lost to them twice last year. One of those losses kept them from getting to the Super Bowl. So I think those are things that definitely played in their minds. As much as they try to downplay it, they don't want to lose a third time in a row to this team. The Bengals have been rolling in recent weeks. They started off 0-2, but now they're 7-4. They're first in the AFC North, and their offense has been clicking. Now they're getting their best wide receiver back. With that being said, Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, he should have a solid game plan every single week. It seems like he's put together a really solid game plan, even with a lot of youth on the defensive side of the ball. Chris Jones has been a man amongst boys. I don't expect that to change at all. And I think that even though the Bengals offense is top 5, in my opinion, Spags has done a good job with facing top offenses, especially this season. He's put pressure on them. They've been a little better than bend but don't break, which we've seen historically. Once again, let's go ahead and see what I think is the difference. Isaiah Pacheco, for the 4th straight game, if he gets 15 or more carries, I think that's a physicality that the Bengals just won't be able to manage. The Bengals defense, as I stated before, they are middle of the pack. KC last season, they decided to not run the ball, even though they got ahead by double digits in each game. They decided to not run the ball. The Bengals allowed rushing to happen. They would only line up 3 or 4 rushers and play everybody deep. But Kansas City just, for some reason, didn't take what the Bengals gave them. This is a game where I think they actually, Isaiah Pacheco in recent weeks, he's been the man. And the whole mindset of the Chiefs has changed. I don't expect that to change for the Chiefs this game. With that being said, I was wrong whenever I predicted 2 weeks ago that the Chiefs would lose to the Chargers. That is something that I'm not going to do this time around. The Chiefs should go ahead and win this one 31-25 in Cincinnati. The Bengals, of course, they're a good team. They're going to put up points. They're not going to be shut down. I think it'll come down to probably the fourth quarter. So with that being said, 31-25, once again, is what I think the score is going to be. The Chiefs come away victorious and make good on their revenge game. Tell me what you think about this pregame prediction. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe for more weekly Chiefs content. Have a good, fun, and a safe game day. Once again, this is On the Block Sports Chiefs, and see you around.